Hello, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. A couple of days ago, I put up a video featuring this Panther M10 German Tier 7 premium medium tank. And, well, this tank has really surprised me. So I kind of wanted to come back and take a second look at it. Mainly because I had a match that was just absolutely amazing. I think my initial assessment of this tank was pretty off, and I've since revised my tactics for this vehicle. Initially, my take on this was that the Panther M10, even though it gets preferential matchmaking and only ever gets into matches up to Tier 8, I initially thought that due to the limitations of this 75mm L70 gun, that this tank would be best suited in a second line position where you stay back from the fight and just put out, medium to long range fire using your high rate of fire and keeping yourself back from the enemy, concealed with a camo net and binocular telescopes. But what I was noticing is that most of the matches I was getting into, that wasn't really a very practical tactic. In many of the matches, 50% of matches, you end up fighting in some kind of a city where things are so close quarters that the binocular telescopes are worthless, and where there's nothing to camouflage yourself in, so the camo net was worthless. So that was part of what made me take a second look at my tactics. Excuse me. And the other factor was that the matches this thing gets into tend to be, some of the matches you get are pretty heavy with Tier 8s. And you have to be more conservative there because of your limited firepower. But when you get into a match that's, say, 5 Tier 7s and all the rest Tier 6s, the Panther M10, you can just go crush people. This thing is like a bully. When it has to fight, when it gets into a fair fight, it's mediocre. But as long as you're not picking on somebody your own size with this thing, it's pretty lethal. And what it really excels at is just stomping the guts out of Tier 6s. So I've changed up my entire philosophy with this tank to go from a second line, long range kind of sniper to being more of a in your face, up close, puppy kicking noob crusher, basically. And to go along with that, I've added improved ventilation to increase all my crew skills and enhanced gun laying drive, because I found one thing that I was doing was I would find a piece of cover that would shield me from enemy fire, and I would be rapidly reversing and driving forward and taking shots at the enemy using the high rate of fire of this gun. And the enhanced gun laying drive minimizes the amount of time where you had to expose yourself. If a vertical stabilizer was a possibility, I would use a vertical stabilizer instead, since that gives you a larger bonus. There's a humongous special on right now on the North American server, giving lots of bonus crew experience, bonus credits on all Tier 7s, half off camouflage, discounts on premium vehicles. But the big ticket for me is that rigs are 50% off. So I've been purchasing lots of rigs. I want to get 5 medium caliber rammers, 5 large caliber rammers, 5 class 2 vents, 5 class 3 vents, 5 enhanced gun laying drives, 5 vertical stabilizers of both types. So I've got some rigs to buy, but in the meanwhile, I've just been, destroying people. So anyway, that's enough talk in the garage about what I found out about this tank, but I just want to show what you can do with this thing. So we're going to take a look at a match I played in this yesterday, and it was just absolutely incredible. Right, here we are. This match is an encounter battle on Ensk. Encounter mode on Ensk is one of my favorite setups in this game. I think it is probably actually my favorite map. And as you can see, the matchmaker has been very generous. The enemy only has two tier 7s, one Tiger P, which a Tiger P in the right situation is very, very dangerous to the Panther M10, and a Yag Panther. The Yag Panther is a dangerous tank destroyer, but it's really not any more scary than, say, a KV-1S. And other than that, the enemy has about 5 tier 6s, and the rest are tier 5s, and then 2 artillery to garnish it. So immediately, I'm going to go into the town. Now, often on Ensk, the town is the domain of the heavy tank, but in Encounter Ensk, usually everyone rushes down the field of the rails, leaving the town open for a flanking attack. And with all the cover and alleyways, there's a lot of opportunity for maneuver, and I really find that it's an excellent environment for a medium tank to just exploit the enemy's gaps. Flank, 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 flank. Medium tanks on Encounter Ensk are some of the best battles I ever have, and I always go city. Now you can see here that I currently still have my binocular telescopes and camo net on, and I'm actually going to try and utilize them a little bit right here. It's not a very good spot, but I can sit in that cover and try to look forward down the alley. But this Panzer III-4 is going ahead, and I've got a couple of heavies with me. I've got a KV-1S and our IS, the other tier 7 on our team. So it's time to get moving. Now again, I'm going to make use of the binoculars while I still have them. I come around this corner to see if I can find anybody down there with the binos. I didn't, but it turns out I didn't actually wait long enough for them to engage, so that was a little bit of a noob maneuver. Now, here we go. Let's do that medium tank thing and flank. This Yag Panther is completely ignoring me. I go for a tracking shot, and I don't damage his tracks. But I get him the second time, and I'm going to close in and go for the kill on this Yag Panther. He's stuck. I can put my DPM to work on his very vulnerable flanks. I go for another tracking shot, but again, I miss. And this Yag Panther is just not paying attention, so I'm going to come in and see what's going on. Now, he's backed up into cover. I know he's got a KV-1S with him. That's dangerous. But the Yag Panther's giving me an opening, so I'm going to take it. I want to play aggressive. This is one of the enemy's only tier 7s. I want to get him destroyed ASAP so that I can just really go bully people. I want to deal with this KV-1S, but he's got himself wedged into a corner, and I'm honestly taking a huge risk sitting in front of his gun. But I look behind me, and there's a Tiger P coming, so I got to make something happen on this KV-1S. So I use the wreck of the Yag Panther to conceal myself, give myself cover, and here you can see rapidly reversing and driving forward to expose myself from cover for minimal times and then fire with this rapid firing gun. Now I back up away from the Yag Panther wreck here now because the Tiger P is coming behind me and I don't want to eat shots from him. But you can see he's ignoring me. So never interrupt the enemy while they make a mistake. I will allow him to ignore me, and I will exploit his stupidity and destroy a very, very dangerous enemy. He's going to allow me to attack him from behind. I'm not going to complain. One of the problems I've encountered with the Panther M10 is its gun doesn't have enough alpha damage to one-hit tracks all the time. So, as you can see, I put one into the Tiger P's right track and failed to damage it. So I try again with his left track, and I pin him in place and kill him. Now I'm going to pause and take a look at the mini-map. You can see things aren't going well. My team's been reduced to the IS and myself in the town, and in the field we have a 3601, a KV-1, and a T-49. You can't even see the T-49 on the map, but he's located at C6 with an enemy heavy right on top of his face. So, crunch time. Now, what I like to do in a situation like this is the enemy is expecting me and the IS to both come back in the direction that the IS is going and engage them at the end of the rails. So I'm going to do the opposite. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble that in this particular map often pays off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the opposite way that they're not expecting. I'm going to try and clean up their backfield, mop up the nuisances, and then carry my way into the main attack. So the SC-5 is taken care of. Time to go hunt the gorilla. The stupid... I hate the gorilla. The Tier 4 artillery of doom. That thing hits me harder than it has any business. So I want to be hunting the Arty, but this T1 Heavy has a death wish, so we'll oblige him. He's put a good hit on me, but I'm working him over pretty well. This is where things go bad. He's got me pinned, and he's not going to back up, so I have to kill him and trap myself. And the gorilla is taking full advantage. He's shooting at me. But all he's managed to do is destroy the railroad cars, and he doesn't have enough splash damage to effectively splash me, and he can't shoot through the rail cars. So you can see the T1 Heavy laughing. He thinks he's got me stuck, and he's right. I'm stuck. But I'm not that stuck. The gorilla puts a hit onto me. A pretty big hit, actually, 228, and I'm pretty sure that was just splash damage. But as you can see, I can move the T1 Heavy's wreck, and my team needs me alive right now if we want to win. So I'm not going to stop. I push that T1 Heavy out of the way, break myself free. Now this is an incredibly huge gamble. This IS player, if he had been a bad player, this would have been a stupid decision. But I get the idea that this IS is pretty good, so I risk going after the gorilla and leaving the IS alone to fight 5 people. Well, that's a calculated risk, because, again, I had a pretty good idea that this IS was a good player, and secondly, even though he is going 1-on-5 right now, you know, he's not doing it in a KV1 going 1-on-5 against Tier 6s, he's doing it in an IS. And as it turns out, he's only going 1-on-4, because the Type T-34 senses that I'm an easy kill, and he comes to go after me. And that is a ballsy move, because, as you can see, not quite the easy kill that he thought I was going to be. He's put one damaging hit into me, done 77 damage, and in that amount of time, I've killed him. So, the IS has just taken out the Churchill 1. I'm trying to get into position to reset the cap and start helping the IS. It's looking like a much more even contest now. Just the Panther 4, the enemy 3601, and the Churchill Mark 7. And you can see I've already got the Top Gun. I don't want to sit in the open and trade blows with this Churchill, because even though he was at low health, the Churchill is another DPM machine, and he has better armor than I do. If he'd faced his armor to me and we'd gone DPM, it would have went poorly for me. But that doesn't matter, because the IS comes in and smokes him. So I start firing at the 3601, but the Panther 4 has a lot of the cap, and he's giving me his side, so I switch on to him. I get incredibly frustrated here. I'm trying to get Bolter's medal. I feel like I've done my fair share of work for the team, and my gun just starts letting me down. I've got a crit for no damage, a bounce, 2 penetrating hits. I just need 3 more before the IS can fire. Okay, 1 more average damage hit, and Bolter's medal is mine. And bounce off of Panther 4, and kill stolen by the IS. In fairness, the IS played really well too. Each of us got 6 kills, so it's not really a kill steal, and there's really no hard feelings, because if the IS hadn't power carried, my power carry would have been for nothing. So, no hard feelings. But I really wish he didn't let me get that Bolter's medal. But anyway, he didn't, so let's take a look at the post-battle results. So, here we go with the post-battle results. Now, this was an incredible victory. 2 times experience for the first win of the day, and I do have a premium account. So, 4,308 experience, 95,659 credits. Now that's with a premium account, but still, this is a tier 7 premium tank. It is not a tier 8 premium tank. You should not expect that many credits in a single battle. And just as a disclaimer, there are no bonus credit income on the Panther M10 during this special event, or even during the time when this battle was recorded. This battle was not recorded during the special event, because if it was, I would have got 5 times experience for the first victory of the day. You can see all the damage that I did. It actually scrolls down even farther. Master Gunner and Sharpshooter, who cares? The big one is the Top Gun. Really would have liked the Bolter's Medal, but I couldn't finish off either one of those last 3 tanks, so oh well. Fair play to the IS, he also got 6 kills, but sorting by damage done, 3,778 damage. I managed to do an entire 900 damage more than the IS. He played really well too with 1,223 unmodified experience. I had 1,436. I think he got Steel Wall. I don't remember, but I got Top Gun. I'm pretty sure he got Steel Wall. I don't know what the KV-1 got, and I honestly don't really care that much. And here you can see the detailed results. Profit of 84,300. That is double what I would expect in a normal good victory with this thing. 49 shots fired, 41 hits, only 36 penetrations. That's a good example of the limitations of this L70 gun. It's pretty accurate, but it doesn't have very good pen. Now, you can see down below that I do have 10 premium shells, and if I'd really wanted the kills that bad at the end, I should have switched to my premium shells to secure the kills, but I didn't think of it at the time because I'm not a big premium shell user, so it didn't happen. You can see that I took 12 hits for a potential damage of 2105, which is pretty good since I only have 1,300 health. That also doesn't include some of the artillery splash that was done to me. Although, as it turns out, that wasn't splash from the gorilla because it shows up on my damage panel, so that was a direct hit from him. So that was a... Oh, I also came quite close to getting the Defender medal with 60 base defense points, so that's pretty good. Yeah. I think I like this tank. It's just so good at pushing around its inferiors. I mean, historically, that's what the Panther did. It rolled in and it picked on T-34-76s and Panzer IVs and Cromwells. So no wonder this thing's good at picking on T-34s, Panzer IVs, and Cromwells. That's what it was built for. This is before I even had my adapted equipment set up to make it even more efficient for that. So with that improved ventilation, maybe I would have gotten that last shot off half a second quicker and managed to kill that Jagdpanzer IV. But, you know, who knows? It is what it is. It was still an amazing game, one of the best games I've ever had. So I hope you enjoy that look at the Panther M10. It was a really fun battle, and we'll see what I've got for you guys next time. But until then, Captain Dorja with Captain Dorja's Armory, and just remember, you can never have enough big guns.